Greetings, Dr. Raina and classmates. I decided to do my research project on Miss Betty T. Bennett's analyzation of Mary Shelley's The Last Man. I really enjoyed her analyzation because she uses a lot of contextual evidence and textual analysis from different analysis that she read on her own about the text and ties it into her understandings and her viewpoints. I love the fact that she analyzes the first volume in great detail. For me, the first volume was very hard to push through. So, reading her analysis made me understand the first volume more clearly because she explains the characters in great detail. She names them: Lionel Verney, Perdita, Lord Raymond, Adrian, Idris, Evandi, Ryland, and she just gives a great depiction of each main character and their roles and how their roles play a part in the overall purpose of the text as a whole. I love the fact that she ties in these main characters to the people that meant most to Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley wrote this text as a way to describe her life and what she had seen and what she had endured going and living through a plague and traveling through a pandemic. And she discusses this and ties in people who mean most to her. For example, Lord Byron. She goes on and she discusses religion and religious roles and how Mary Shelley uses God with a capital G and a lowercase g, unnamed spiritual powers that are discussed, and different gods that are plural, showing gods that people make per se. She discusses good versus evil when it comes to religious leaders and decisions, and consolation and corruption. Regarding the political roles and views, Miss Bennett quotes, "What is lacking in Bernie's England but critical to its success is a system that prepares the populace for Republican government, and a Republican government that, like Mary Shelley and her circle, was genuinely engaged and concerned with the world politics." I love this quote, and I love the fact that she states this within her political analyzation of the text because it ties into the political aspects when it comes to Raymond and Ryland and the different governments, the different areas that they travel to, and how their governments handle the situation of the plague and people dying and people traveling throughout the time period. Also, the social roles that Mrs. Bennett explains are the different socioeconomic aspects of the different characters and how some characters are more dynamic and more influential in the overall text, and how their social status plays a major part in their dominance or in how they influence the development of the text. Like I stated, Bennett begins by explaining the characters. She gives us an excellent understanding of Volume 1. I struggled through Volume 1 because it was so wordy, so mushy, it was so much, and I was trying to find the point. What is the point? What is the purpose? What am I supposed to be gaining from this volume? I understood it completely after reading Bennett's analysis. So she begins by letting us know about the characters and how they tie into Mary Shelley's life. She goes on to discuss the Sibyl. The Sibyl is very important because this is where the leaves are. And the leaves tell the futuristic story, which is the story that we are reading. In my opinion, I felt like the story on the leaves was symbolic of the overall story in the text of The Last Man. Furthermore, the leaves were spread out. The main characters go on a journey. So since the leaves were spread out, you kind of had to take a journey, walk through to piece them together. So I felt like it was symbolic of the journey that the characters had to take in the story. Bennett quotes In short, the reader is positioned in a cave of insecurities, requiring a torch to find the path, and uncertain at best what will be found at the end of the journey of the novel. So she sets us up to know that we're about to go on a journey with the characters or in the book, and we are curious to figure out how the journey will end. Of course, we know that in most plays and pandemics, it ends in death, and this story did end in death. She kind of sets us up to prepare for a journey and to be inquisitive on what is going to happen along the journey, who will we meet, who will fall off, who will come back, and so forth. Mrs. Bennet does an excellent job of explaining how Mary Shelley challenges the views and norms of the time period. She quotes, "The torch illuminating the last man is reconstruction itself. Traditional and even some non-traditional social, political, religious, and sexual norms are evoked only to be dislodged." So, throughout the overall text, Mary Shelley is taking us on a journey, and as she takes us on a journey, she challenges our views. She challenges what we consider the norm, because during the play, views change, the norms change. People are now, they're all traveling and going on journeys, and as they go on their journey, they go to different cities and different countries, and in each specific area, there's a new norm, there's a new goal, there's a new view. And this sets us up to challenge and kind of question what is right. Kind of like the aspect of good versus evil. What should be the foundation? What should be right? She goes on and she quotes, "The last man is in keeping with the Shelleyan, Goodwinian, and Wollstonecraftian politics in its efforts to alter ordinary perspectives. It destructs expected values, genuine love of wife and children, traditional religion, and traditional government in order to compel readers to reconsider those values by analogy." So, the aspect of being faithful in a relationship, that's Raymond and Perdita and Ivandi, that is an aspect. The power of children. Idris stands up to her mother when her mother does not want her to be with Lionel. Also, the warmth and the love that Raymond and Perdita share for Clara, the warmth and love that Idris and Lionel share for their children. Their children bring them great joy and great love. This is discussed throughout Bennet's analyzation as well. Bennet does an excellent job of explaining women's roles and men's roles, and how the women, as they are developed as characters, they set the foundation for how the men perceive them and their relationship with the men. And the women, their actions kind of encourage or determine the actions of the men, and therefore the men's actions kind of determine and encourage the layout of political, social, and religious aspects of the story and how it develops. So the women play a major part, even though within the aspect of the political aspect and women, Mary Shelley does not get recognized for her aspects of politics within the story. They say that women should not really discuss politics and religion, so this text did not receive accolades for politics and religion that it should have received, because Mary Shelley really put in a lot of religious and political ties within this text. The major points that I took away from this article is the aspect that The Last Man is a reconstructive post-apocalyptic novel, and it kind of challenges your views and thoughts on traditional aspects of life. The political significance and how Mary Shelley faced a lot of backlash with her work is another takeaway. The aspect of gender roles and how gender roles play a major part in social, economic, and relationships and political and in religious aspects within the story was a major takeaway, because the aspect of Raymond, Perdita, and Ivandi, that entire storyline plays a major part. Idris and Lionel, they play a major part in the development of the story, and how strong women really helped the men. The strong women that lived throughout the plague really helped the men as they went on their journey. In conclusion, this essay helped me make connections throughout the first volume of the novel. I understood more of Mary Shelley's writing technique and why she wrote very long, elaborate Gothic style descriptions in the beginning. I made connections to generals and the development of the text. And overall, reading this analyzation helped me understand how the text develops in the bigger picture. My perspective: a great understanding of volume 1. I love the fact that Mary Shelley challenges our traditional present views and makes us rethink aspects of life. And I have a greater understanding that death is a transition everyone must make, but we have to decide what choices and what roads, paths, and journeys we will take in our life as it prepares us for our final destination, which is death.